The Rotterdam Rules is officially the UN Convention on Contracts for the International Carriage of Goods wholly or partly by sea, is a treaty aimed at modernizing and unifying the legal framework for maritime carriage of goods. It extends the scope of existing rules to cover door-to-door shipments, includes electronic transport documents, and modernizes liability rules for carriers. The rules were adopted in 2008, but as of December 2019, they had not yet entered into force due to insufficient ratifications. 1. Historical background of the Rotterdam Rules. A. Need for modernization. The Hague Rules, 1924, and Hague-Visby Rules, 1968, were designed for traditional port-to-port shipments under paper-based bills of lading. However, modern shipping involves containerization and multimodal transport. Goods move in containers via ships, trucks, and trains door-to-door. Electronic commerce. Digital bills of lading and trade documents became common, but old laws did not recognize them. Imbalance in liability. Hague/Hague-Visby Rules favored carriers with low liability limits. Hamburg Rules increased carrier liability, but were adopted by few countries. B. Current status, as of 2025. Not yet in force, requires 20 ratifications. Only 6 countries have ratified: Spain, Congo, Cameroon, Benin, Armenia, and Togo. Major shipping nations, USA, China, UK, Germany, Japan, have not ratified, limiting its impact. 2. Main features of the Rotterdam Rules. A. Wider scope of application. Door-to-door coverage. Unlike older conventions, only sea transport. It applies to entire transport chains, e.g., truck, ship, train. Electronic transport documents. Legally recognizes e-bills of lading and digital trade records. Mandatory application. Automatically applies if the shipment involves any international sea leg, even if part of a multimodal journey. B. Carrier's liability system. Extended responsibility period, from when the carrier receives goods until delivery, not just ship loading/unloading. Strict liability. Carrier is liable unless they prove the damage was due to act of God, natural disasters, war or piracy, shipper's fault, e.g., improper packing. Higher compensation limits. 875 SDR, special drawing rights, per package or 3 SDR per kilogram, whichever is higher. Compared to Hague-Visby, 666.67 SDR/package or 2 SDR/kg. 2. Main features of the Rotterdam Rules continued. C. Shippers' obligations. Must provide accurate cargo descriptions, weight, hazardous nature. Liable for losses if they misdeclare goods, e.g., hiding flammable materials. Must ensure goods are properly packed and labeled for safe transport. D. New legal concepts. 1. Volume contracts. Allows freedom of contract for large shippers who negotiate their own terms. Similar to charter parties, but under a regulated framework. 2. Performing parties. Extends liability to subcontractors, example, ports, trucking companies. Ensures cargo owners can claim against all parties in the transport chain. 3. Right of control. The shipper can modify delivery instructions, example, change destination mid-transit. Must compensate the carrier for extra costs incurred. E. Time limits for claims. Notice of loss to be issued. 7 days for visible damage and 21 days for hidden damage, example, internal container damage. Legal action deadline. 2 years from date of delivery, similar to older conventions. 3. Criticisms and challenges. A. Complexity and legal uncertainty. Longest maritime convention, 96 articles. Vague terms, example, reasonable measures for cargo care, may lead to disputes. B. Debate over liability balance. Carriers argue, rules impose too much liability, higher compensation limits. Cargo interests argue, too many exemptions still favor carriers. C. Slow adoption by key nations. USA supports but hasn't ratified due to insurance industry concerns. EU mixed views. Some countries prefer Hague-Visby. China and Japan prefer existing systems. D. Competition with existing rules. Most trade still follows Hague-Visby rules, dominant in Europe, Asia, and Hague Rules remain in force for some African/Latin American nations. 4. Will the Rotterdam Rules succeed? Advantages. Modernizes law for e-commerce, containerization, and multimodal transport. Better balance between carrier and shipper interests than older rules. Challenges. Needs more ratifications, especially from the US, EU, China. Risk of fragmented application if only a few countries adopt it. For now, the shipping industry continues under mixed legal regimes. Evolution and comparison of the various rules are displayed here for the better understanding of the viewers. Thank you for watching the video. For more marine topics, please subscribe the channel. Please help us with your valuable feedback to improve the contents.